let's go ahead and get started with this story about Imran Khan. So he is the former prime minister of Pakistan. If you remember, I covered him quite a bit last year. He was arrested. He has been in prison for quite some time, or at least a couple of months. And the reason why he was arrested is they tried to say that he basically was leaking state secrets, which we'll dive into that, because as I explained to you, that's not the real reason why they wanted to arrest him and also remove him from that position. So he is not allowed to run for re-election. He was forcefully removed. And I'll get into all of that. And we're going to tell you how the United States took a part in that as well. But first, there are new updates about his particular case. It appears that Imran Khan has now finally been sentenced, and they have sentenced him to 10 years. I kid you not. Let's get into this clip here from the BBC.
Hello, I'm Lauren Taylor. A court in Pakistan has sentenced the former Prime Minister Imran Khan and the former Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi to 10 years in prison for leaking a diplomatic correspondence. The former Pakistani Prime Minister was already in jail. He was jailed since August 2023 on corruption charges, which was maintained are politically motivated. And he was ousted by his opponents as a Prime Minister in 2022. So he's already serving a 3-year jail term after being convicted of corruption. And now this new sentence has come of a 10-year jail term for leaking state secrets. And so we will bring you Carrie.
Let's pause here for a second. Something else I think you need to know about Imran Khan, if this is your first time hearing about him, he was not a standard politician. He wasn't a politician at all, actually, when he ran for office. He was a famous cricket player. For those who are not aware, he was an athlete. That's actually where he kind of got his start, and that's why a lot of people knew who he was. But he was not happy with politics in Pakistan. He started a new political party. I wish we could just do those kind of things here in this country, right, and get things going. And the people overwhelmingly actually liked Imran Khan and his political party. He actually has done a lot for the people in Pakistan. Now, there are some of his positions that he had earlier on that I did not agree with. There was one invasion that he took part in. He also took that back later on and said, at the time, he thought he was doing the right thing, but later on, he realized that that was not the best thing to do. But to be said, the people overwhelmingly like Imran Khan. So that is something that you do need to be aware of. This is not a political figure that was detested by the people. He was overwhelmingly popular. And you know what I said before? When there are political leaders in other countries that are actually helping the people and can be popular with the people, and let's say they may disagree when it comes to certain foreign affairs, the United States government oftentimes will find a way to remove that leader. And that's exactly what they did to Imran Khan. Let's continue.
Carrie Johnson a little later. Carrie Davis, I beg your pardon, a little later. I think we're just going to check whether we can speak to Carrie. Carrie, so to bring us the latest on this court handing another sentence to Imran Khan.
So this case has been going on for a matter of months, all happening inside Adiala jail, which is where Imran Khan is currently being held. Now, of course, as you mentioned, he was initially convicted back in August on a different case. He actually got bail from that particular case, but was kept behind bars because he was detained for these other cases that have been mounting against him. Let's talk a little bit about this particular case. This is relating to an appearance on stage by Imran Khan in March of 2022. That was a month before he was ousted from power in a vote of no confidence. Now, when he appeared on stage, Mr. Khan appeared waving a piece of paper which he said detailed a foreign conspiracy against him. He said that inside this letter, it said that all will be forgiven if Imran Khan is removed from power. Now, he didn't exactly say which particular foreign power that this material, this diplomatic letter, had come from, but then he continued to be highly critical of America during the course of that speech. So people drew the dots there. Now,
pause. So she said he was highly critical of America, and I'm going to explain to you why. You see, when it came to the Ukraine war, Imran Khan actually was one of the political leaders that decided to remain neutral. He did not want to take the side of Ukraine. He did not want to take the side of Russia. He was pressured by the West to take the side of Ukraine, and he decided not to. And that is one of the main reasons why the US government decided to push for the military and the police to forcefully remove him from his home. We'll have to go back to that video that I posted a couple of months ago, where the police actually came in and they surrounded his home, and he recorded a video and he said, "They're coming for me now." And he told all of the people that were part of his party and other residents there, he said, "Whatever you do, don't let them silence you. Don't let them stop you from speaking your truth." But he recorded a video letting people know that they're here, they're coming for me. So just an FYI.
The prosecution in this particular case has alleged that by Mr. Khan appearing on stage and talking about this, that this related to leaking classified documents and damaging diplomatic relations. Now, it's that second part, damaging diplomatic relations, that is particularly difficult and that holds the longer sentence. That can lead to up to life imprisonment or even the death sentence. Now, we are now hearing from local media that were allowed to attend inside court. We weren't able to attend the court case inside the jail, but we are hearing from them that the judge has found Imran Khan and his former foreign minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi. They found them both of being guilty and being sentenced to 10 years in prison.
And Carrie, when he was arrested in the past, there were massive demonstrations, weren't there? How kind of popular a figure has he remained in spite of being in jail? And how concerned is the government about that popularity in the run-up to an election in February?
Yes, of course, that's the key backdrop here. We're less than 2 weeks away from a general election here in Pakistan. Now, Imran Khan has not been obviously in the public eye. He hasn't been seen since early August, but yet he is still, and his team have tried to keep him in the public consciousness in the run-up to this general election. It's difficult because how honest are people going to be necessarily in some of the polling, but the suggestion is that Imran Khan has remained on some level of popularity and is still a potential concern for many people. Believe that the military establishment here still have a very powerful hand in what happens in those general elections.
Okay, so you see there is an election coming up. One of the things I want to mention too, I actually did interview a friend of Imran Khan. This was also a couple months ago. All this happened last year, but I actually interviewed a friend of his that explained to me the conditions that he was actually dealing with in prison, that they basically had isolated him by himself. They weren't trying to feed him or anything. So they basically were trying to, I guess, put him in the most crude state of despair, punishing him harsher than other prisoners, just FYI. And also for those who are not aware, apparently as prime minister in Pakistan, you actually do have the privilege, whether you're in prison or not, to actually be able to have the phone call to contact family. They actually, according to his friend, they were preventing him from doing that. So they were treating him more harshly than other prisoners, just FYI.
And so Imran Khan, we of course have not seen out in public. His party have had the well-known bat symbol, a cricket bat symbol, which is very recognisable on the ballot paper. That was removed from them, which means that a large amount of his party, all of his party who were standing, are now standing as independents with their own different symbols instead. So that is the backdrop to all of this. And of course, many people are seeing this particular case and the fact that some of the local media were reporting that the judge had been told to expedite a decision in this particular case as being related to the general election. Now, exactly how this is going to impact Imran Khan directly, he had already been disqualified from running. That was as a result of the conviction back in August. So that hasn't changed and that wasn't about to change. But whether this will have an impact on the morale of his party, on the morale of people who are potentially going to vote for him, whether this is something to do with the negotiations that are going on behind the scenes, all of this sort of speculation on social media, very difficult to say exactly what the impact will be in the run-up to the general election. But of course, pretty crucial that this decision has come with less than 2 weeks to go until that vote.
Hello, I'm Lauren.
So, as you can tell, there is an election that is coming up, and it is obviously not going to be a fair election in Pakistan. And that's part of what this was about as well. It wasn't just about accusing him of revealing state secrets or corruption. It was also about making sure that he was removed from power and that his party would also fall apart. But it's not just him. Now, here's the other kicker. His wife is also being sentenced to 7 years in prison. So you see, they're not just coming after him, they're coming after his family as well. The accusation here is that apparently they're charging the wife for having an unlawful marriage. Listen to this.
Well, a top story is from Pakistan, where troubles seem to be unending for the former Prime Minister of Pakistan. Imran Khan and his wife Bushra Khan were sentenced to 7 years in prison. A Pakistan court ruled their 2018 marriage violated the law. Now, the two were each fined 500,000 Pakistani rupees, which is about $1,800. This is the third adverse ruling against the embattled former Prime Minister this week. The ruling comes ahead of national elections on Thursday. Imran Khan is barred from contesting them. Bushra Bibi is accused of not completing the waiting period mandated by Islam, called Iddat, after divorcing her previous husband and marrying Imran Khan.
Okay, so you see what they're trying to get them with now. So this isn't uncommon, right? Where oftentimes they're not just going to punish the political leader that they want removed. They'll also come after family members as well. So they're claiming that she didn't wait the required amount of time before marrying him after she left her previous relationship. But come on, guys. Like, come on, right? Okay. So this marriage happened years ago. Where was the charge then? Don't you think it's a little bit strange that they're charging his wife after they charged him? They're trying to punish everyone in the family. Listen to this.
Now, Imran and Bushra signed their marriage contract called a nikah in the January of 2018 in a secret ceremony. This was 7 months before the cricketer turned politician became Prime Minister. There was controversy over whether they had wed before the mandatory period was complete. After initial denials of their January marriage, both Bushra and Imran have denied any wrongdoing. Now, Khan is in the prison in the garrison city of Rawalpindi, while his wife had been allowed to serve a sentence at their hilltop mansion in Banigala in Islamabad. For the latest on this, we are now joined by our Pakistan Bureau Chief Anas Malik, and he's joining us on the phone line. He's joining us from Islamabad. What is the latest update, Anas? Any reaction from Imran Khan's and Bushra Bibi's lawyers on the next course of action?
Well, Isha, this is the third conviction that Imran Khan has had this week, and his lawyers have been calling this as a fabricated and a false case. They vow that they will be contesting the case in the higher judiciary. Imran Khan has been sentenced, along with his wife, for 7 years imprisonment, rigorous imprisonment for violation of the Sharia law by going into marriage without completing the iddat period, as it's said. That being said, he's also been fined 500,000 Pakistani rupees each. Both Bushra Bibi and Imran Khan both have been fined separately. His party has announced that they will be going into the superior judiciary against this very verdict. Isha?
Can you, for the sake of summarizing again for our viewers, tell us Imran Khan's previous convictions, also very importantly, how they impinge upon his party PTI ahead of February 8th?
Well, last question first. This is going to be a moral or setback for the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, because remember, it is not contesting the election as a party. With that, the first part of your question, this is the third conviction that Imran Khan has had. The first was in the National Security Compromising Security Secrets case, the Official Secrets Acts case. He was sentenced for 10 years in prison. The second was that with regards to Tosha Khana, where he was found of selling assets at a lower price and causing harm to the exchequer, the national exchequer. That in that case, he was sentenced for 14 years imprisonment. And then today's conviction in the case, in the illicit marriage case, where he has been sentenced for 7 years imprisonment. Now, what is interesting to note is that all these convictions will run concurrently, as what the Pakistani law specifies. So the highest number of conviction, the highest conviction that he's had, that would be applicable. So that means Imran Khan continues to spend at least 14 years in prison.
Okay, so that's the part I wanted you guys to hear that. So the grand total will be at least 14 years in prison. And even when he is released from prison, he is not allowed to run for office again. So now, it's really important that you hear the piece that mainstream media leaves out. And I think this is very important. Now, The Intercept actually reported this last year. Ryan Grimm announced this piece, which I said before, the part that mainstream media leaves out, which I think it's important for you to hear this. Secret Pakistan cable documents U.S. pressure to remove Imran Khan. Let's get into this. By the way, this was reported August 9th, 2023. So let's get into this. The U.S. State Department encouraged the Pakistani government in a March. Oh, I think that's a typo there. Encouraged the Pakistani government in March 7th, 2022 meeting to remove Imran Khan as prime minister over his neutrality on the Russian invasion of Ukraine. That's according to a classified Pakistani government document obtained by The Intercept. So you see what I was saying? Like, there's usually more to the story that mainstream media isn't going to tell you. Nobody else, the BBC isn't talking about this. Even One wasn't talking about this. CNN didn't talk about this piece that is important. But The Intercept was able to find this. The meeting between the Pakistani ambassador to the United States and two State Department officials has been the subject of intense scrutiny, controversy, and speculation in Pakistan over the past year and a half, as supporters of Khan and his military and civilian opponents jockeyed for power. The political struggle escalated on August 5th when Khan was sentenced to 3 years in prison on corruption charges and taken into custody for the second time since his ouster. Khan's defenders dismissed the charges as baseless. The sentence also blocks Khan, Pakistan's most popular politician, from contesting elections expected in Pakistan later this year. 1 month after the meeting with U.S. officials documented in the leaked Pakistani government document, a no confidence vote was held in parliament, leading to Khan's removal from power. The vote is believed to have been organized with the backing of Pakistan's powerful military. Since that time, Khan and his supporters have been engaged in a struggle with the military and its civilian allies, whom Khan claims engineered his removal from power at the request of the U.S. This is another example of the U.S. government intervening in other countries and removing their leaders. Again, I don't think, if the West is cheering on a political leader of another country, it's usually because they're aligned with the left. So they're one of the allies of the United States. If they're not, then it's usually because the United States actually installed that leader. They put them there. We talked about this on Friday when Maurice was here in reference to the Congo, and he talked about how the U.S. government came in and the CIA, they overthrew Patrice Lumumba. So we talked about what happens in these countries when the U.S. government, gets involved in these political actions and they actually start removing leaders. So I wonder what's going to happen in Pakistan. The text of the Pakistani cable produced from the meeting by the ambassador and transmitted to Pakistan has not previously been published. The cable, known internally as a cipher, reveals both the carrots and the sticks that the State Department deployed in its push against Khan, promising warmer relations if Khan was removed and isolation if he was not So they were threatening to isolate Pakistan if they did not remove Imran Khan. The document labeled secret includes an account of the meeting between the State Department officials, including Assistant Secretary of State for the Bureau of South and Central Asian Affairs, Donald Liu, and Assad Khan, who at the time was Pakistan's ambassador to the U.S. The document was provided to The Intercept by an anonymous source in the Pakistani military who said they had no ties to Imran Khan or Khan's party. The Intercept is publishing the body of the cable below, correcting minor typos in the text because such details can be used to watermark documents and track their dissemination. So you'll see this here, and it talks about the contents of the document. Actually, you can click on that there, but I've done this before, but I just wanted to add this point. And it says here, the diplomatic meeting came 2 weeks after the Russian invasion of Ukraine, which launched as Khan was en route to Moscow, a visit that infuriated Washington. So you see, there's always more to the story. And honestly, in reference to the corruption and all those kinds of things, I have yet to see them prove that. Remember, when they arrested him, it wasn't like they were like, oh, these are all the things that you did, and we have evidence that you did these things. And they didn't show the evidence, show proof of the evidence. So that's why this story, I feel like this is one of the more underreported stories in reference to foreign policy. I feel like a lot of people don't know about it, and I wish that they did. But the thing is this, the US government was behind it. No surprise there. But Imran Khan has now been sentenced to 10 years, and his wife has been sentenced to 7 years. For Imran Khan, that is now a grand total of 14 years when you actually combine the charges that he had previously. We will continue to follow this story to see where things go. But like I said, it looks like Pakistan is about to have an unfair election. Let's go to some of the comments here. Thank you, Lee A. Roster. Thank you. He gifted 20 Sabby Sabs memberships. Everyone give Lee a big whoop, whoop. Thank you. Thank you so much. That is so generous of you. Nancy says the U.S. government is always behind bad shit. Yeah, there you go. So we didn't have that story from The Intercept. Just imagine the big piece that we would be missing. You remember the U.S. government, it wasn't just pressuring a country like Pakistan to take a side when it comes to the Ukraine war. Let's remember the African countries that said they wanted to remain neutral. They wanted nothing to do with this war. Let's remember that as well. We always have to continue to keep our eye on the West.